For what it's worth, mine's hair transplants and women for the most part. But the Ian Garry Islam fight, what exactly are you expecting from it? Ian's made a lot of headlines because he did a podcast and said, I guess, the opposite of what Josh Hokett said. He said women should run the world and stuff like that. But the fight itself, how much of a challenge do you think Ian is for Islam?
Yeah, I think it's a great fight, actually. If you look at what Ian Garry has been able to do, he frustrates people. His takedown defense has been excellent, and we'll see if he can stay on his feet with, obviously if he can stay off the ground, he poses a serious threat to Islam.
The UFC 330 press conference gave fans a much better idea of what could happen when these fighters finally step inside the octagon. There were tense face-offs, strong predictions, confident statements, and several moments when the atmosphere became noticeably intense. The main attention was naturally on Islam Makhachev and Ian Machado Garry. The two fighters have taken very different paths to reach this point, they have very different styles, and neither one appears short on confidence. What made the event especially interesting was how unwilling both men seemed to be.
Of course he improved, he have more than 10 fights in the UFC right now, and the number one thing what he improved is experience. Now he have more experience in the UFC, in the hard fight, and I'm also grew up, take the belt, I have many hard fights, that's why I have more experience.
Absolutely, he's a tougher test than a grindy wrestler. Shavkat's phenomenal everywhere on the feet. He can grapple, he can wrestle, he can beat you on the feet with submissions, with strikes. He can beat you on the ground with submission and strikes. I just feel like it would have been a nice box to tick off, to go out there and show the world that I can shut down people's wrestling against that American style and then go forward and fight someone like himself. And I'm very excited to have this opportunity.
To give the other any psychological advantage. Islam arrived as a champion known for wearing opponents down through elite grappling, constant pressure, strong positional control, and increasingly effective striking. Ian Garry, meanwhile, entered the media spotlight with complete belief in his own abilities. He believes his size, range, movement, timing, and composure can create serious problems for Makhachev. From the very beginning, the main question surrounding the matchup was,
of course, we're all team about the hard work. That's why the sacrifice, that's why two guys, one night fight for the title. Because we're hard worker, we work more than everybody. That's why we're here today.
UFC 330 has officially reached the point where the talking is becoming just as dangerous as the fighting itself.
It's clear. Can Garry keep the fight in the areas where he is most comfortable, or will Islam eventually force him into positions where his grappling and physical control become the deciding factors? The press conference became even more interesting when the discussion turned toward Islam moving into a new division and the specific challenge presented by a fighter like Garry. Makhachev has built his reputation around making opponents fight according to his style. His approach is about much more than simply shooting for takedowns. He combines forward pressure, positioning, clinch work, trips, body locks, and top control to slowly reduce the options available to his opponents. Garry, however, brings a different set of challenges. His height, reach, movement, and ability to operate from long range give him tools that can make it difficult for Islam to safely close the distance. Garry understands that if he allows Makhachev to pressure him toward the fence without responding, the fight could quickly turn into a grappling contest. That is why so much attention has been placed on Garry's footwork and defensive wrestling. Almost every question...
There'll be nothing he can do about it. And I'll talk to him, I'll dance in his face, I'll do whatever I want. Because the truth is, when we get locked into that cage one day, he's never going to be able to deal with me. But the truth is, I have a target on my back. I have the ability to stand here and shoot shots at anyone I want, because this is my job. And they have the opportunity in return. So for me, when you attack people in my circle when they don't deserve it, that's out of line. And look,
about the matchup eventually returned to the same issue. Who will control the space inside the octagon? If Garry can maintain control of the center and make Islam cover more distance before entering, he could have a chance to keep the fight focused on striking. But if Makhachev gets close, connects his hands, and starts combining his attacks, the entire fight could change very quickly. Islam did not appear especially worried about the physical advantages being discussed. His confidence suggested that he believes his experience and fight IQ will allow him to deal with whatever problem.
You know, we're coming to Philly. We got Islam Makhachev and Ian Garry, and you know we got a great summer slated. So I'm looking forward to it.
UFC 330 in Philadelphia. That feels like a big. Is that announced? Is that known or no? Is that something that we just learned? I don't know if.
Yeah, we're coming back. This is the first time we're back in Philly since like 2019, I think. I love going to Celtics games in Philly. The Philly fans are awesome, man. Every time I go in there and I got my Celtics shit on, you know, the Philly fans are like, "You got some balls wearing that in here. Yeah. UFC sucks."
Problems Garry brings into the cage. That confidence matters because Makhachev has already dealt with elite strikers throughout his career. His success has often come from refusing to give those opponents the type of fight they want. Instead of standing at long range simply to prove that he can match an opponent's striking, Islam uses the threat of his wrestling as one of his biggest weapons. Once an opponent starts thinking about the takedown, everything can change. Their striking stance may become different, their movement can become easier to read, and openings can appear. Islam can then use that hesitation to enter the clinch, attack the legs, drive his opponent toward the fence, or simply force them to move backward.
And Islam, if you have both belts at the end of the night, what are you doing to celebrate first order of business?
What if I have two belts?
Если у тебя будет два пояса в конце вечера, что ты делаешь, чтобы отпраздновать это?
Well, maybe all of you guys can come to Dagestan and we celebrate together. For 2-3 years.
That is what makes the matchup with Garry so interesting. Garry cannot afford to throw too many attacks without thinking because every missed combination could give Islam an opening to change levels and shoot for a takedown. At the same time, Garry cannot become overly defensive. If he gives Makhachev too much space and allows him to control the pace, Islam could gradually take command of the fight. Another major theme from the press conference was confidence. Ian Garry has never been afraid to show how strongly he
get a flat tire on the way to the match. Which UFC fighter would you call to pick you up?
You know, when you... Как называется?
A flat tire.
Well, when the tire flat, you have to bring, like, put something to put your car up, you know? And I need some big guy to hold my car. And maybe DC can hold my car, and I change that first.
He believes in himself, and that attitude was on full display once again. He spoke as though he does not see himself as a typical underdog entering the champion's territory. Instead, Garry appeared to believe that Islam is the one accepting a difficult challenge by agreeing to face a bigger and longer opponent who has spent years developing his own complete skill set.
I'm gonna show, guys. I'm the best fighter in the world. That's why I have to show who I am this Saturday night. And I will show you, inshallah.
Going. Every single one of you is talking about me. Every single one of you is here to see me.
Gary's point was that his danger does not come simply from being the bigger fighter. He believes his timing, accuracy, movement, distance control, and ability to make opponents miss all work together to make him difficult to deal with. His plan appears to be based on making Islam repeatedly reach, reset, and chase him around the octagon. Garry believes that if he can force Makhachev to take more risks, opportunities will eventually open up. And when an elite fighter begins taking unnecessary risks against a tall and accurate striker,